Welcome back everyone. Let us continue designing. In this video I explain you the state management of our app. We have completed the designing homepage, app and the question paper. View question paper component yet to be designed. There are useful data that are generated in the each and every component. For example, in the home page, the new document ID will be generated and redirected to the form question form page when user clicks on the new blank page. The document name and the questions will be added in the question paper component. View question paper will display the questions that are added from the question paper component. One way of sharing data between the components is sending the data through prop object. We have three parts in our application, that is state, view and actions. View is the description of the UI based on the current state of our app, and the actions and the events that occur in the app based on the user input and the triggered updates in the state. The state describes the current condition of the app at the specific time. The UI is rendered based on the current state, that is the data that are present in the state. When the something happens, such as clicking on a button, the state is updated based on what has occurred. The UI is re-rendered based on the new state. We have the simple example here. This is the central store, that is the Redux store, that takes the function reducer, and the reducer will take that state and the action as a parameters, and each time the state will be updated based on the action that has dispatched from the event handler. Here this is the event handler. This dispatches the action that has the object properties with type and the payload, deposit and withdraw. Here the one more property, that is initial state, the total value, that is 0. When a user clicks on the button deposit $10, the event handler dispatches the event to deposit and change the state of the wallet $10. Here the new every time when dispatched an action, the state will be updated and the UI will be changed based on the state. Open your project and inside the components add the new file called reducer.js and add these functions. This first constant is the initial state. Here every time the state will be immutable, and the state object has question property, question field, question type and the document name and document description fields, and the questions is the array that holds array of questions. One more constant is the action types. Here we define what actions will be performed by our reducer. This is the reducer function that takes the parameter state and the actions. Every time the state will be the default, and it will be the initial state will be passed here, and this is which will take the action that is dispatched from the event that has the type, and look into the action types object, and if it find the match with a set question, change type, either set doc name or the set doc description, based on that the state will be, new state will be created here. When the new set question paper action is dispatched, it returns, and this spread operator that is operated with the state, it pulls out all the properties present in the state and it just updates that property questions with the new questions that are passed with the payload. If reducer does not find any match with the action types, it will return the current state of our app. And export this reducer function. Add one more field, state provider. State provider .js. Here you add these. Import React use context, use reducer and create context from React library, and call create context function and store that object in the returned object in the state context. And we tell the React Redux what store we want to use in our components. We do that by rendering a provider component around the entire app and passing the Redux store as a prop to that provider. Here you create the state provider and pass reducer initial state and the state context that provider with the value use reducer that passes the reducer and the initial state, and one more function use state value, and open the index.json file which is the root component to render in the browser, and import reducer initial state from the reducer file and the state provider tag here and pass the initial state with initial state and the reducer with the reducer that we get from reducer file. You complete this tag. Now save it, and now all the components in our app can read the Redux store and can also update the state by dispatching that some actions here, and I show you how to do that in the next video. Thank you.